I'm Donna Moore with Piedmont Custom Meats, and this system that we put in basically came out of necessity. We bought an existing business in 2014 and quickly realized we wanted to expand, started looking where we might expand, and it became very obvious, except I'm not getting it to advance. Okay, well.
I see your screen.
Yeah, but it's not advancing to the next screen. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right, maybe this is it. So as we started looking, we realized we were going to have to find a location separately. You know, we couldn't expand an existing facility. So we bought an existing food processing location in 2017. And after having a lot of feedback from a lot of different customers, the one thing that everybody said was, well, how can I know where my meat is at all times? So that led us to realize we really needed a very robust kind of program that we could track product at all times, know where it is. And that's where we came up and just kind of came across a company called Minotaur Software. They're actually out of Canada, but they had been really responsive because their programs, it's a really truly fully integrated system. You can track everything from the animals themselves to materials. It does that. You can do billing, the inventory control. It's truly all encompassing. Now, all that being said, we opened our second location January 25th, 2018, and that's when all this went live. It truly wasn't totally integrated at our both locations because we were kind of at the mercy of some infrastructure with Time Warner Cable, kind of getting some things to connect our two facilities. But it's been a learning process. I will say we haven't probably taken advantage of all that it's offered in this program. It's just kind of like a brain. It's still sitting there, and one day we'll hopefully be able to use all of it. But for what we're doing, we find it to be really great because it all starts with the customer. It kind of builds together. So the customer has like attributes, and that customer might be, we have some customers who want their beef to hang 3 days because we are truly just a co-packer. We do not buy anything. We don't sell anything. So everything's just, we are a service industry. So you could do attributes for the customer as to how long you might want it to age. If the customer has a logo they want us to put on the product, if the customer wants us to price, if the customer has their own UPC, we can put all that on the packaging. Also with the system, you can do, there's other attributes that you could then assign to each one of the individual items, like if it's a bison item or, you know, as far as the legend might be put on the safe handling, so that on some items you need it, some items you don't, you know. So it really is kind of like Legos that gets put together to make the product and the system work. As I said, everything kind of starts with the customer. So a customer calls in, they want to make an appointment, and that was one of the other things we want to be able to make appointments and know what's on the books, so that you don't everything coming in today, and you don't want to have it to be doing it on a paper copy. So the system here, like example, I could say if somebody wants to come in and wants to bring pork, and I can look on this particular day to see, okay, well, how many do I already have on the books? As you can see right here, there's 11 on the books already. So, do I want more? Do I not want more to come in that day? When the animals then arrive at the barn, we go ahead and schedule the customer on a particular day. They show up, and when they show up, we use a tablet at the barn. We have a zebra scanner, and as you can see, this is, sorry, not the best picture, but this would normally have been at the barn, but we scan a back tags, like the back tags that are provided by APHIS. We scan that back tag, and that back tag now is associated with that animal and is also associated with that customer and their sales order. One of the things when we did all these improvements, we also added a live weight scale at the barn, so that way our customers know what the live weight was on the animal. We don't bill off that, but it's just kind of a reference because everybody kind of wants to know yield. Well, in order to know yield, you gotta know what you're starting with. So that's one of the things that we did put in was the live weight scale. At the barn, the tablet. So if it was a beef, and then what we would do is we click up beef, And then we would look for the animals that were supposed to be coming in that day. In this case here, we're just going to say it was okay little. Then we pull up okay little. Yes, he was supposed to have 1 beef to process. And so the persons at the barn will then like tap on this order. And then the animal is kind of like on the live weight scale, it automatically populates that weight into the system. And then they scan that back tag. And as you can see here, then it populates that back tag number. They tell it okay. And now all that information is now associated with that animal, and that animal is now associated with that customer. Then when it goes to the kill floor, we've got some Avery Weightronics, the carcass scale, an indicator back there, the same thing. We are using pretty much throughout the rest of the plant these tag wire Washdown computers, which are just awesome because it doesn't matter if they get wet because they are designed for that environment. They're also designed for when in our processing rooms, where it's quite chilly, you know, that there's no problem there. But once again, we use a zebra scanner, and as you can see here, our employee would actually scan that back tag that was on the carcass. It now populates that information there on the kill floor. Also, then it captures the hanging weight. One of the things that we'd always have customers go, well, you know, did my livers pass? Did my heart pass? You know, and so, you know, you're kind of going, well, if it's not hanging with the carcass, no, it didn't. But now our employee on the kill floor, he makes a note of, was the heart okay? Was the kidney okay? You know, in this case here, we just said the liver failed, you know, just to kind of show an example. And then also we mark for, like, if it was on beef carcass, if it was over 30 months, which is the OTM. All this is important because this is all information that's being populated, which then we can get numerous different reports from. But once he's collected all that information, he tells it to print. And then it prints 2 tags, and that way we put tags on each one of the carcass halves, which we are using these Datamax printers to print the carcass half. Small animals like a sheep and goat, which are not split, it would only generate 1 tag. But here, as you can see, where it says 55mm6938, that is the back tag that was on the animal when it came in at the barn. We do all the killing in our Gibsonville location, but then all carcasses come down to our Asheboro location for processing. Everything is transported in these big macro bins that we have. Once again, though, that tag is scanned, and then we generate labels to put on the outside of the bin to specify what's inside of that bin. So if a person had 3 pigs they brought in, their 3 pigs would be in that 1 bin, but then we have tags on the outside of the bin to specify what's in it. We also use these handheld computers to scan the bins to the truck, which is a great thing because then we basically have made a manifest as to what is on that truck and what the weights were those carcasses that are on the truck. So that's our main, which is Gibsonville. When it arrives in Asheboro, then we scan it out of the truck into our location. Once again, this is information that I can always see what's on the truck, what's still in Gibsonville, and what's also in our Asheboro location. Here's just a picture of our processing floor. As you can see, there's that Tegwire computer and the Datamax printer. They scan the barcode with the cut sheet because we custom cut everything based upon a cut sheet that the customer has filled out. That information then pulls up, well, if the customer has a logo, or if we were pricing it, or if there's a linear barcode. Those are all attributes that are assigned to that customer. Then we also then print a chill tote label. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner over there where she's at the scale station, that's a chill tote. And once again here you can see the 55mm8268. There is the animal number. That 2105, that would actually be the sales order number that went along with this customer. But we create chill totes labels so we know whose product is in that chill tote, and then of course then we print out a label after it's been weighed and put a label on the product itself. Just a couple examples of our labels. We can do not for sale, and these are all attributes that would be assigned to a customer. So if they weren't selling it, then obviously it'd be the not for sale. Here's an example of a customer who has their image. We price it for them. They also have their own linear barcode, a GS128 barcode format that's on there. And one of the other unique things about this system is every piece of meat that runs across the scale gets its own unique lot number. You see that 828552505 in the first circle? That is a unique number. So for every piece of meat, it gets its own unique number. And here on the label again, it all references back to a back tag for the animal. There are, like I said, there's lots of different reports that can come out, but one of the things with Minotaur, and I'll show you a little bit of live stuff in just a second, but just thought I'd kind of tell you, is the traceability of how the customer to the order number to the animal is all linked together. Same thing with all the products are all linked back to an animal. We can trace everything that's produced on a particular date or a date range. Lots of different reports that can be generated, and it gathers information all along. Minotaur, as I said, it does like the accounting, the management reporting, manufacturing, calculating costs. A lot of this we still truly have not taken advantage of yet because, you know, there's only so many hours in the day, and kind of like Joe, we're kind of, you know, we have to do lots of different things. But I also want to show you, I can, some of the reports. Like if I wanted to see, here's an example. Oh, I had it pulled up, sorry. Here would be for a particular day, and this was before our last meeting we were going to do, but here was what we killed on a particular date, and actually I think I had run it for on the 22nd so I could see what we ran on what we actually killed on the 21st. But here's just an example of one of the reports that tells me like the number of pigs, the number of beef that I have, the number of sheep. So I have those animals that I know that I actually killed, that would be in my new ones that would be in my cooler. And as I was telling you, every piece of meat that runs across the scale gets its own unique item number. And we can generate reports that then we actually send to our customers. We can just email it because usually these reports are quite lengthy, but in this case, this particular cow had a live weight of 1086. They had a hanging weight of 661. And as you can see down through here, that's the lot number. That's that unique item number that's put on every piece of meat. Here was the package weight. Here was the date it was weighed. Here was the time that it was weighed. So once again, if there's a particular issue, we can zero back down. We can go to the date, the time. This told me what shield tote it was put in. It's like 2908. And then once again, everything is referenced back to a back tag for that animal. Just to show you a little bit of like a live system. And I said we can check where something is at all times. And here's going to be a particular animal, and we'll see where it is. And I click here, I tell it to drill down, and I can see here it was, oh, I did that wrong. Let me do this. Go back one time. BBRI 55MM9481. I can see that this particular carcass right now is in Maine, and I know that Maine is our kill plant. Then if I wanted to see some more information about another animal, I'll just show this one. This particular one here, I take it and I drill down, and I can see that actually, today being the 5th, it has actually been assigned to today's work order. So I know it is actually being processed today. I mentioned also the fact that we can at any time check like if organs passed, and that same animal, let's go see. I can go see the attributes for it. This particular attribute, it had a hang time of 5 days, had a gross hot weight of 164 pounds. We killed it on April the 2nd. The lever failed, everything else passed. So it's just a lot of different information that we can collect, and it helps us for as traceability. You trace it forwards, trace it backwards. And once again, try to give the customer as much information as possible. So in a very small nutshell, that's the Minotaur system. Like I said, there's lots still to learn and to implement that we probably have not taken full advantage of, but they are a great company and have been a great company in helping us customize the system to meet our challenging needs that we had here.
Thank you, Donna. So we have a few questions in the queue, and I'm just going to start off with the first one. Matthew Campbell owned, do you own the software, and how much does it cost? I assume this is to Donna because Joe talked about his cost. So Donna, do you own it, and how much did it cost?
Yes, we do own it. It's kind of hard to get, I mean, I know the cost. When I look, and I made my notes here again, it cost us about $96,000, and that had 4 scales. That's the software, the 4 scale stations, the kill floor station, the barn station, and like 2 handhelds, that handheld computers. There is an annual fee with Minotaur. I think it's about $8,000 or $9,000 a year, and I guess that gives you the new updates and access to other things. The one thing I did not mention, and it's kind of hard to put an exact dollar to it because we knew we were going to connect our 2 plants anyway with telephony, and so there was that cost. So yes, it's kind of built into this cost because we had to put a server in, but we were going to put a server in anyway. So, but just strictly, just what we paid for, like the Minotaur and the scale systems and computers and printers, that was right at about $96,000.
And does that annual licensing cost cover software support, tech support, or do you have to pay additional for that?
That was kind of built, the technical support was built in part of our package when we bought this. And so you were allocated X number of hours for support, training, and to customize the system.
Okay. All right, so now I'm going to pop into the Q&A. There's quite a few. The first part is what do invoices look like in the Minotaur system? Maybe you can start there.
Okay, the invoice is basically, the invoice, it reminds you a lot of like a QuickBooks invoice. So, and truly this system is so customizable. So if you wanted there to be multiple pieces of information, I can't even think of what all might potentially you'd want to be on that invoice, but it's pretty much customized however you want it to be set up. And
does it integrate with QuickBooks, or does it just replace QuickBooks for accounting?
It replaces QuickBooks.
Okay.
And I think within hours, it was all integrated. We took our QuickBooks because we've been using QuickBooks for like 4 years, and it was just all integrated together.
That's good. The second part of the question for you, Donna, is how easy is it to update the number of animals that are dropped off if a farmer brings in a different amount than scheduled?
If they bring in more than was scheduled, it's not hard. If they were on the schedule to bring in 2 pigs, they brought in 2 pigs and 2 sheep, then they just have to go to the office to have those added onto it. That's not something that can be done at the barn. We did, and like I said, this thing's customizable, so we did decide it was okay to allow extra animals of that same species to be received at the barn. And I think Joe had made a comment about the live weights. We do capture live weights at the barn on everything except our water buffalo, our bison, and our yak. We do not capture live weights on those. We just let those boys go on down the line.
Just a little too wild to hang out on the scale.
Yeah, just keep on moving.
All right, another question for you, Donna. What are you utilizing the QR codes for on your final labels?
Okay, that is actually, and this is one of those things I've learned a lot. That is actually not a QR code. It looks like a QR code, but that is actually a 2D barcode. So inside of the 2D barcode, you could put a QR code like the quick response code, but this is truly just like a data matrix. That is the same, that 2D barcode that we have on there would be the same thing as a linear barcode, except we could put more information. The linear barcode that we can print on the label right now is basically confined to about 3 pieces of information, whereas in that 2D barcode, we could put, I mean, there's just an infinite amount of information you could put into that 2D barcode.
That's not a consumer-facing barcode because it's not a QR code. They can't like scan it with their phone and find information about.
True. Unless I do have one customer who does have a QR code, so that has basically been linked as an attribute into that 2D barcode. So if a customer scanned it, then like if they wanted their customer's customer to be able to go to their website. So their customer's customer could scan that and it would take them to their website.
Okay. Interesting. Let's see. One comment by Matthew Campbell was about charging a premium or surcharge for some of these services like yield analysis and barcoding and just the extra time that it takes to do this. Are any of you guys passing off these costs to your customers, or you just kind of build it into your fee structure?
We are not, as far as like the analysis, I mean, I don't really do a whole analysis. It's just, I have a lot of data that we just then pass on to the customer itself. And as far as barcode, that's just an attribute. So it's basically, I set it up one time, it's there. So we have not, I mean, we do charge a customer a one-time setup fee to, if we want us to put their logo on there. But other than that, there's no additional ongoing fees.
Hopefully everyone can see that. And I'm just going to take, let's see, a couple more questions from Tracy. Do either of you incorporate an auto-way labeling system into your labeling program with the software systems that you purchased? How do you match your production capabilities to your packaging and labeling capabilities? I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I'm thinking matching your production capabilities to your packaging and labeling. To me, that sounds sort of like a product flow. And does the packaging and labeling like hold that up?
For us, it's not held anything up. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
Did your new system actually make it faster for you?
I wouldn't say faster. Mm-hmm. I would say, yes, there is probably faster because you're not having to look up, you're not having to change over, you're not having to do a whole lot of different things. So I would say yes, probably faster. Mm-hmm. And I would like to clarify, I would say a year ago, oh yeah, there was probably some slowness, but at the same time, this was a brand new plant, brand new people, brand new procedures, a brand new labeling system. And so there's a steep learning curve. There really is. But now a year out, you see the advantages of having this system.
Yeah. Okay. So one last question, clarification. What does EDI stand for, Donna?
I think it stands for Electronic Data Interface, I believe. Okay. I know there was some major grocery stores in the area. Oh gosh, but that basically you would upload the order. They would upload an order. You would upload invoices, and so it's basically the paperless version of transferring information.
What kind of information needs they have? So again, for the attendees, the two technologies we looked at were Minotaur software, and that website is just minotaursoftware.com. And if you go into the chat, you can see the contact for Judith Kirkness there. And they're based in Canada, but they will work with the US. Yeah, I appreciate everybody's time. This has been illuminating for me. I've never really understood kind of what happens in the plant with tracking and traceability and labeling. So I've learned a lot from you all, and I will post this video Monday onto our YouTube channel if you want to share it with colleagues or watch it again. Okay? Everyone have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
You so much.
Take care, y'all. Bye.
Bye.